Welcome back to the Sisters Show. We are so excited. I have a voice, so Rita's not here, the raspy woman.
I genuinely can't. So we're back. Let's open up the episode with our Sister Shit of the Week.
Let's get
right into it. You want to start?
Take
us away?
Yeah, I do want to take us away. So I didn't want to spoil it, which I don't know if you guys know this, but when we do our Sisters Shit, we do not tell each other what it is.
A little surprise.
So I almost spilled the tea before this episode. So I have been binging, and I think you're going to be repulsed by this. The Ultimatum.
Wait.
On Netflix.
Wait, I feel like I watched the first season of that show.
I think you said very mean things about it. You were like, this is the dumbest show I've ever seen in my life. Who would do this? And let me tell you guys why. Basically, it's like you and Joey are dating for 7 years, 10 years, whatever years. And you have to give him an ultimatum, which is marry me or I'm leaving you.
Okay.
I can get down with that.
I agree.
But they have trial marriages. So they put 4 couples or 5 couples, I think it is, and you date each other's spouse.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I did watch this.
And
yeah.
But the thing that's so, Sean and I got sucked into it is the drama that comes with it, because you're literally in the room when Sean or Joey are dating these potential trial marriage wives. And they're like, and flirting. Mm-hmm. And every time we watch this, Sean's like, you would cut a bitch. He's like, I want to see you and Athina go on the show.
I think I literally watched this show when it first came out, but I don't remember anything about it.
I vaguely remember you telling me that this show is the dumbest show you've ever seen, because who would actually do that? And
yeah.
But I think you forgot.
I must have.
But for this week on my sister's show, I guess I'm saying into what I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm watching The Ultimatum on Netflix. I've gone through season 1 and we're on season 2, and now it's the tell-all. Sean and I binged season 1, season 2. And I think season 1 was better than season 2. So yeah. I'm not going to spoil alert that for you guys, but for sure it's interesting. And if you just want to turn your mind off, it's comical, actually.
I think shows like that too, even with Love is Blind and just a lot of the dating shows, they are funny, but a lot of them honestly are very it's nice to watch with another person and pause and talk about it.
100%.
I feel I've been seeing a lot of people saying that, and it's so true, because you're sitting there watching and you're like, pause. We need to go back on that and talk, because there's so many interesting perspectives and things that you see, and I don't know, just feel opens you up to these
Love is Blind. Sean and I were using it for a little therapy sesh.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that.
We pause it and we work through these things, because you can find something that I think we can all relate to everybody, no matter your race, your political views, whatever your profession is. I can find some meat and something good to learn from a homeless person and a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Yeah. And so the personality things I love watching on these kinds of shows, and totally, we have therapy sessions. But so we've binge watched The Ultimatum, and that's my sister's shit of the week. I have one more thing, but what's yours?
So mine is something that I have been wanting to experiment with for a while, and I finally took the plunge and did it. I took my first few reformer Pilates classes.
Oh my gosh, I had Pilates written down too.
Stop.
It's on this paper.
Pilates princesses for life. That's so funny. So I just started taking them this week, and technically, because I'm still kind of learning the terms, one of the classes I took was technically a Legree class, which is technically not Pilates, but it's similar in the sense of the super slow controlled movements it's funny, one of the girls I took the class with was I actually call this the torture machine. Mm-hmm. And you guys, as someone that has been working out for years, I have never, your body moves in ways that you didn't even
know it's possible. Yeah, so let me ask you this, because the Pilates studio, which I have written down Pilates, so I'll change it.
So good.
Is is the torture chamber. It's that thing that you lay on in the middle, and you have like you put it on your feet and your arms, and you bring your body down and rise up. It's that. So thing.
It's two, like there's an end and then another end, and those two parts don't move, and then like the carriage part in the middle is what moves.
Okay, so that's the torture chamber.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what my studio has.
And oh my gosh, like
you die,
and I think what I really find fascinating about it and what I really like is that it's a completely new form of exercise that's like super challenging, but it's something that I've never done before, so I'm like fascinated by it. And now I'm like, I want to get so good at it because I've done like 2 classes and I'm like addicted. So if you guys are like bored, I feel like with exercise and workouts sometimes we get really bored. Try new things and switch it up, because you might be really, really strong in like a certain area of exercise, and then you try something else and then you realize, oh wait, I'm actually like in this area super weak. So it's very cool.
That's so true. I too have done like Pilates at home, Pure Barre we used to do together, which Pilates reminds me a lot of Pure Barre and those small isometric movements. But I'm on the torture chamber at my Pilates studio, and I'm doing 2 days a week. And I also, the other thing about switching it up is I think it's smart to change the time you work out. I like to do that. So I've been doing like a very early class, and it really, those days that I do it, I have such a kick-ass day. But just like what you're saying, it's so smart for us to remain humble. And it tickles your brain. It forces you out of your comfort zone. Like I'm at square one when I do Pilates, instead of like, oh, I'm going to, hip thrust 300 pounds and make you look like a sissy. Now it's like at Pilates, I am like, I'm in kindergarten. And I get sore in places. I'm like, I didn't even know there was a muscle there. Like this morning, the back of my arms in weird ass places are sore. And I'm just like, it's just the best feeling.
When you like can't get out of bed the next day, and I'm like, okay.
And you think you're in shape, which we are in shape, but we have so much more to do with these bodies. So I am obsessed with Agent Nateur, the brand in general. It is a woman-owned company, and of course I love that she like loves freedom, and she actually lives in Florida. And the company kind of blew up in 2020, and it's all extremely clean products. It's not like MLM, network marketing, anything like that. And she literally started this company because she had a lot of hormone health issues, and she needed a different kind of deodorant. She didn't want deodorant with aluminum in it. And I'm talking about you, like I know you and you're my friend, but it's fine. The owner. But I love the story behind brands, and then of course it's clean products. And so I've been using her products for a very long time, but she came out with a mascara. And I have used, her resurfacing glass better than Botox mask. Like I'm obsessed with that. I put it on you before. I use like her eye creams, all of it. Great stuff. But I've been using her mascara, and it comes in this bundle where she has a lash and brow serum. And then the coolest thing about this mascara, which I don't know if there's already, maybe there is this out already, but it strengthens your lashes, and all the natural ingredients that she has in her like serum, she has it inside of this mascara. Ooh. I love everything.
I'm gonna go raid your
cabinet. Of course, it's a very small product line, but it packs the freaking punch.
But I like that, because I feel like sometimes when you see a brand that has 1,001 products, you get one, overwhelmed, and two,
I agree.
How good are you really formulating everything, especially a brand that claims to be like natural, if you have 2,000 things?
No, it's like super tight product line. She hasn't changed. She has a 3-step thing, and
like the basics that work.
Yes, good shit, guys. So check her out. I don't have a code. I buy it, and maybe one day we'll have her on the show. But I love the brand Agent Nateur.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into what we're talking about today.
Let's do this,
because this is something that, as you grow as like a woman and just as a person,
I get comfortable for this.
It is probably, in my opinion, one of the most important things as someone who takes pride in how I treat myself and how I take care of myself. The people I surround myself with is probably one of, if not the most important factors in living a life that I'm happy about, because obviously I love people and I love being able to share experiences with people and getting to know people, but it is so important who you let in on
So
your
important.
life
So important.
And your goals and the things that you want for yourself. So one thing that we kind of do to ourselves is, you know, we have these people in our life and you sometimes don't know if they're really serving you or kind of contributing what a good true friend would contribute. And I think it's really hard as someone who's 20 versus even someone who's 36 versus even someone who's 60. Like, you could still be surrounding yourself with bad friends and bad people, and they will 100% have an influence on everything.
100% influences so much. It's so important that we talk about this.
Yeah. And so let's
I can't get comfortable today, guys. If anyone's watching us on video, they're gonna be like, this girl has ants in her pants.
pants.
All right, I think I'm good now.
Let's like touch on what things, you know, we look for, because I think I want to emphasize too, there's a difference between a bad friend and then someone you just don't align with, or someone that you're just not meant for each other. But then there's those women and people, mostly we're talking about female friends, that really can put a wrench in who you are and the things that you want to achieve in life. So let's kind of start with going over like what things we look out for as like red flags. Like, hold on a minute, we need to kind of reevaluate this person's place in our life.
Yeah, and I think the purpose of this episode too is like, I know that people can relate to this, and if we can save you guys from any pains that we've gone through, no matter what your age is, like, that is what we want to do here. And I also think that the word toxic is overused.
I agree.
A lot. And a lot of narcissists will use that term just like, I don't agree with this person, so they're toxic.
Yeah.
And so I want to also point that out. Toxic doesn't, it's very much, it's like cancel culture. I think a lot of people are using that word wrongly.
And I think it's okay to not get along with certain people, but
absolutely,
it doesn't mean you get to erase them as a person, or it doesn't mean you get to lie or make things up and change the story just because you don't get along with them or you don't like the opinion they have about whatever it is. It could be anything. And I think you kind of get into really dangerous territory when you start looking at people or having someone in your life that starts to make you feel like you're a bad person because you guys just don't vibe or you don't align. I think that's like super dangerous.
So I'll start with a red flag. Number one is they don't respect your boundaries.
Yeah.
That is something that is not easy, especially with like lifelong friendships, with family, sometimes with your relationships, and, you know, if you're dating or it's your spouse. If the person does not respect your boundary, whatever that may be, that is a huge red flag for me. Yeah. Huge. I don't know if you've experienced that in your life where you give someone an answer that they don't like, or you know, it could be, let's go out Friday night and you have a Pilates class Saturday morning or work, and this person's always making you feel like shit by setting a boundary of like, you know what? No, I'm actually going to stay in, or I have XYZ. Respecting boundaries, we always say this on this show, is a way to protect relationships. Yeah. And that is a huge one for me in the past that I ignored, is I set a boundary and they don't respect it, they don't acknowledge it, and they keep moving. And it's like, I said this out loud, plain as day, what my boundary was, and you still don't fucking get it. And that person actually is toxic. Like, they're gonna give you a guilt trip, they're gonna make you feel like shit for your reason, they are gonna put down your reason, they are going to make you question your sanity and your boundary. That is so much what I've dealt with in the past. The guilt, when you feel that guilt because you give them an answer. And look, boundaries also can be a misused word. So I think that people don't realize when you say no is a complete sentence, and that's a boundary. Yeah. When you can't do a plan that someone wants you to, or you are not willing to do whatever it may be because of what you have going on in your life, and then that person is constantly making you feel like shit about that, or guilt tripping you into being like, oh, well, I guess if I'm a good daughter, I would do this, or I guess if I'm a good bestie, or Okay, here's one for you. On the way here, I asked you, can you watch your nephews?
Yeah.
If I was a toxic narcissist sister, which a lot of people listening have toxic narcissist sisters in their lives,
Yeah.
or you were, I would make you feel like shit for saying, no, I can't watch.
Right. Like, what's wrong
That's
with you?
like the perfect real life example.
Yeah.
Imagine you had plans, really didn't want to watch your nephews,
Yeah.
and you're like, I really don't think I can. And then I guilt trip you.
Right. And I think the important thing too to note with that is it's so important to be friends with people that you both have a mutual respect for each other.
100%.
Because if you don't have that mutual respect and understanding of each other's boundaries and just each other's presence in your life, I feel like that's when you start to like resent and assume the worst.
Oh yeah.
Because like if I asked you to do something and you were like, Athena, like it's not gonna work, like I have this and this, I respect you to know that like, okay, I know she loves me.
Yeah.
I know she cares about me.
Yeah.
And I know that she obviously is giving me this answer for a reason, and I trust you and I respect you. I feel like, which kind of goes into one of the things I want to touch on, I feel like people that don't have that respect, it also comes down to them being insecure in the friendship.
Oh yeah.
Which kind of goes into
the
next overarching theme, which is jealous and insecure people, which
Oh.
I think is the root stem of most friendship problems that I've ever had or most women have. It really does stem from that place of jealousy, insecurity in themselves, insecurity in the friendship, and they start to resent you for maybe being a little more of the confident person. And I think that something I've learned is, as someone that's very strong-willed and has like a strong, you know, aggressive persona.
We are just so bad.
People get very
intimidated
by that,
Yeah.
and then start to make you feel like you're doing something wrong for acting in that
Well,
way.
it's like 1 and 2 are going in together right now, what I just said, because
Exactly.
it's almost like everything we say, I think, is going to build on each other, because it's making you feel like shit and guilty for being you.
Yeah.
And your light is shining so bright, Athena, that just your presence makes this person feel inferior, and it's not your fault.
Yeah. And I think as someone that is pretty confident in themselves, I think when I'm around people that I can sense aren't, they kind of like shrivel up and make you feel like
oh my gosh, yes.
And they make you feel like you're too much.
It's palpable. You can walk in the room, and there's times with ex-friends that I feel their self-esteem going out the door just because I can carry a conversation with a stranger.
Right.
And that is so not who we are.
Yeah.
We are like the kind of people who want to get you in on the conversation.
Absolutely.
And that makes me feel so uncomfortable when that happens.
Yeah, and it makes you feel like you have to lessen yourself or diminish yourself.
That's something I'm glad you brought up, because in the past I have made myself look like shit to make these kinds of friends feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I'll lower myself, I will dim my light or put it under a table so that you can shine just a little bit brighter. That's the kind of friend I am, but that's not healthy for us.
Yeah.
And so if you find yourself in a friendship that you're noticing that they're very insecure around you, they're questioning everything they're doing around you, like, that is a toxic AF bitch.
When people ask questions that you can tell kind of has like a backhanded to it,
and they're fishing.
And you're like, are you really asking because like you're curious,
or are you trying to get your opinion across by I see what you're saying.
And it's like, again, that goes back to the insecurity thing and dealing with women that aren't sure of themselves. Is like, a person that's confident would just be like, oh, like, if we were talking about it, they would just share their opinion. They wouldn't feel the need to like backhand insult you. Mm-hmm. And
which is all tying back into insecurities and jealousy.
Yeah.
And that, especially as you grow, Athena, and, you know, in my 30s, in my 40s, I don't have time for this bullshit. We are not in middle school. And I think one of the saddest things for my sister that she learned through me was 40-year-old ass women behaving like they were in middle school.
it's mind-boggling. baffling.
It still mind baffles me, and I'm sorry, but it's like you learn it immediately when you have children. These mom cliques.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about the mom cliques. I want to dive into that.
I am anti mom clique PTA. Okay, what do you want to know? It's toxic. It's terrible. It's so bad.
I want to know, like, what makes a mom clique? Like, why is it like
you have like the attachment parenting mom cliques? Okay. You have like the crunchy non-vaxxing mom cliques. You have the hippies in that too. You have the really conservative, my kids will never, religious cliques. You have the my kid does Santa, your kid doesn't do Santa. We have the ones that never say no to their kids. We have the ones that always say yes to their kids. It's like,
okay, so it's
any parenting style you have, divide and conquer.
Wow.
Yeah.
As someone that's not a mom, that's such a bizarre, like,
did you see her stroller?
Oh,
she doesn't have the new Uppa Baby stroller. Wait, oh my gosh, she dropped the pacifier and she didn't wash it. She put it in her mouth and then put it in his mouth. That boy came back from the bathroom and he didn't use hand sanitizer. Did you see that?
So do you think it's that these moms like just don't have a hobby, so they just like start?
No, because the most important job and the hardest job and the busiest you'll ever be is popping a kid out.
That's what I'm saying. So like what?
No, it's tying back to they're not personally developing and they're jealous. Or look, ultimately, these kinds of women, whether it's with parenting or it's someone in your life right now at the salon or whatever, they don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. And they are making decisions in their parenting that they're not even that convicted of. Every time I piss a bitch off on the internet coming at me for homeschooling my 4 sons, and they're like, well, public school actually isn't that bad. And my son has a straight, it's like, why are you defending yourself to me? All I said was I homeschool. Uh-huh. Do you do what works for you? There's always, just like what you're saying with that like backhanded comment, when people come at you about like, so Athena, wait, why do you eat so much meat?
Yeah.
That's what we're saying here.
That's exactly.
Why do you homeschool? It's because bitches don't know what, like, and they have, if you are not ride or die convicted, which growth comes with, I'm okay with changing my mind. If my son, I think he will thrive in school, regular conventional school, I'll put him in it.
Yeah.
Be careful what you say. Be careful what you say. My kid will never. I would never go vegan, because you might have a health issue in the future where your ass goes vegan, or I stick my kid in school, or I wouldn't put my kid on that medicine, or whatever it may be. As we grow, you might backtrack. Also, a really good friend, this is a green flag, will hold space for you changing your mind.
Absolutely.
But yes.
Not shame you or guilt you or make you feel bad. No. And I think the issue is that these types of people that we're talking about, they can sense when you are sure of who you are and you are confident in your decisions. And that makes them feel even worse.
Yep.
And then it's this cycle of like, you feel bad because maybe you do really care about this person, or you know, you've been in this person's life forever. So you feel bad. So then you start to kind of diminish yourself and your presence in the conversation.
You self-sabotage.
Right.
In essence.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone says, show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
You will become and start acting like, which one of my topics is copycats we're going to talk about here. Yeah. So I'm not talking about that. I am hotter because my sister lives in Miami. You're like, how? Why? Because I get to be around this young, vibrant soul that's my soul sister here and my real sister. And she keeps me fresh. And she tells me, like, she'll say, don't wear that, whatever. She has never said that. But the point is, and then Athena being around me and Sean and whatever qualities that she picks up around, like, it's facts. It's literally facts. I look back, I'm making Sean's birthday video for tomorrow, and I'm looking at videos of myself from literally just 2 years ago, and I'm like, who is that?
Yeah, you don't even recognize yourself.
Wait, I don't even recognize myself from a year ago.
Yeah.
And so, not that we should outgrow our friends, but don't be surprised when you outgrow your friends, because when you're on this journey of self-discovery and refusing to settle and wanting to be better, whether that's breaking generational cycles, whatever it may be, if you're not following suit, you are going to outgrow that person in your life. And that could be your boyfriend, that could be your best friend, that could be whoever.
Absolutely. There's room for everyone.
Of course.
To succeed and to be who they are and to live how they want to live. And it's people and women that feel like, I don't want to say it's necessarily gatekeeping, but it's like they
competition.
Feel like there's not enough space for everyone. There is enough space. And when you're around someone, and I hope that everyone has at least, you know, experienced one or two people in their life that you can be around them and you guys can both be your absolute best and worst with each other, and it feels safe. That's really what I'm looking for when I am deciding or evaluating like the people in my life. Like, am I able to share my good news, my bad news? Am I able to show my lowest moments with them, but then they also are truly happy in my best moments, and I don't feel a sense of shame, or I don't feel like I have to be less of me around them? That's when you know that's someone that you want to surround yourself with. It's those women that feel like, oh, there's only room for one of us to be good, or there's only room for one of us to, you know, look a certain way. Those are the people that I want to like get the hell away from me, because if you're not here to push me to be better, support me, and I'm going to do the same for you, then I don't want that in my life.
Yeah.
It's honestly a waste of my energy and a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And I know we both can agree on this. We're both very low maintenance people. Whether or not I don't know if it's a personality thing or where we're at in life thing, but I don't want to work constantly talking and all this stuff. I don't need that, but it's, again, it all ties back in with having a friend that respects you, respects your time. I understand that you're running a business, you're trying to feed your kids, you're trying to be the person you want to be in your physical self, your mental self, your emotional self. It's okay, and I respect that. I don't need to be like, even though we do harass each other on FaceTime, like if she doesn't answer the phone or I don't answer the phone, it's not like constant nagging. What are you doing? Call me, call me, call me. It's like, you have things to do, and I respect that.
No.
And people that don't get that, I think.
But it goes back to, you don't know where you fucking stand in that relationship, and you're insecure in that relationship, which is what you brought up. I know where the fuck I stand in Athina's hierarchy of her life.
Yeah.
And so if there was an emergency, I would harass her ass. Yeah. But I know where I stand with my sister Athina, and I want to know where I stand in my friendship. And if I don't know where I stand, that I'm questioning that you don't answer your FaceTime, then we probably shouldn't be friends. Seriously.
So I want to know, did any of your friends,
frenemies,
did they ever, like, you know, the FaceTime thing and like the calling thing, did they ever nag you about?
100%.
I want to know about that a little bit.
I could be working.
I find it so interesting.
It's bizarre, and it's also giving lesbian vibes. Like, can we just say that? Are you so obsessed with me, bitch?
Why are you so obsessed?
Wait, are you what is this? Because
Girl,
I'm trying to figure this out, because you've taken on my full ass like personality, my favorite color, the same fucking Skims dresses, the same colored hair, the same extensions. And then when I'm trying to make my money and I'm working and coaching other people, which brings me to, if they're fucking jealous of your other friends, let them go. If you can't tell them, I would have to withhold that I'm on FaceTime with you.
No.
Yes.
Bye,
yes.
bitch.
Yeah. Bitch was crazy. Like, jealous Can I just tell you guys? I gotta say it into the mic. I'm trying to talk to the camera. I haven't had a man, an ex-boyfriend, be this fucking crazy. And it was a friend, a best friend. And there was 100,000 trillion, quintillion red flags that I ignored. And this episode is to save you from what I went through.
That's really crazy because men be crazy. So the fact that that was...
Oh, honey, I never experienced this in all of my, years. It literally, like lifetime sociopath obsession, like the movie where they take on your whole personality and want to have sex with your husband and like go literally live your life. It was like that. Which leads me to, they copy everything you do. And it's not like, oh my gosh, we're in the same sweatpants. Or there's a difference between copying, which we talked about last season, and then just being a fucking freak and wanting to be me. Literally. Trying to hold on to the last little ounce of Jackie that you put pink pillows in your house and everywhere in your house. Like, find your own fucking identity.
Mic drop. Like, I honestly think we could just end the episode.
Should we just end the episode? No, I have more to say. Okay, another red flag, and yes, so to end that 100%, I've had friends that are jealous of or nag me when I don't call them right back. What are you doing? It's like, I have 4 kids. Sean just got home. There's times where I call my sister and I'm like, oh shit, Joey's there. I'm going to go. She's like, why? And it's because I respect you.
Yeah.
Like what you said, I respect your boundaries. I respect your time. And I know that Sean doesn't really, he doesn't care, but like he doesn't want to be listening to a conversation for 20 minutes if he doesn't have to. I haven't seen him,
Yeah.
Okay. Another one with the copycat and all that and that I've ignored. And because I am a good person and you are a great person, and I want to warn you about this too, is I have to raise 4 sons. You don't have kids yet. I cannot wait for that moment. I'm not trying to rush you. But I have had issues in the past where I see the good in this person. I'm ignoring all of these sociopath red flags. And I want to help them in my relationship. I'm a mentor. I'm a coach. People pay me to make them a better person and help coach them through mindset shifts and issues with their health and all this, okay? I don't want to raise my friend. Mm-hmm. The same way I don't want to be my husband's mother, I don't want to be your mother. So if you find that there's...
You already had four kids.
Exactly.
God forbid you have to raise...
So you have a friend that you find that you're constantly having to like stop everything, teach them this new thought that should just be second nature for them, or coach them through this situation. The trauma bond thing is not a good look, and it always ends bad.
Yeah.
And so again, this comes off like I'm not a good Christian, or I'm not long suffering, or I'm not a good person. I don't have time to raise my best friend. I don't have time to make you a fucking better person.
Yeah.
Do the work. I've said this to my husband recently. I have done so much personal development work on my husband. Now handle yours. I got to raise these boys.
Yeah.
And so coming off of that, it's like the puppy dog syndrome of saving everyone. You can't save everyone. You can lead them to water. You can try to inspire them by how you live your life. But if you're constantly finding yourself having to coach them through these like situations, and I'm not saying, of course, trials come up, and you coached my ass so much last year.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it's all the time. It's unequally yoked. It's constant. You have to put everything aside, and you find like you're raising a child.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
So I'm curious to know in all of this, how do you find the appropriate way to go about actually letting go of people like this? Because I think a lot of people have
That's a great question.
I think a lot of people have different methods and ways. Some people are more confrontational. Some people aren't. I know what you did when you were dealing with people like this. I know that like you did send a text message hoping to kind of like be upfront and clear the air and say what you had to say in a respectful way. And obviously that didn't go very well. So I want to kind of go through like, do we think ghosting is appropriate? Is there a respectful way, or is it kind of just like once the friendship breakup is bound to happen, it's kind of bound to happen. Like, bye, bitch, be gone. Like,
well, it depends on if you're dealing with a fucking crazy person. Because if you're dealing with a narcissist, nothing you do is ever going to be what they wanted. If you called them, if you FaceTime them, whatever it may be. So I think that this answer is multiple choice because, you know, they're a respectful adult and mature and know who they are. And you know when a friendship is on the outs. There's signs.
Yeah.
Just like in a relationship with a guy.
Right.
So don't be so fucking shocked when you get the text message.
Right.
You've already felt me pull away. You've already seen boundaries go up that you don't like. These people are fucking crazy when they can't handle that shit.
Yeah.
So I do think that there's a time, the ghosting and or if you don't think they're worth a face-to-face meetup, I agree with it 100% if it's to protect your fucking peace.
Yeah.
If you know that you're going to keep in a circle with this person and they're never going to let you go, do what you got to do.
I think sometimes being a good person is glamorized. And like sometimes it's like you have to just release. And even if maybe some people think there's a better way to do things or a more respectful way to do things or a more Christian way to do things, it's like sometimes you do have to kind of put that aside and be like, okay, but what's going to allow me to sleep tonight and not have constant anxiety and worry over like what I said during a conversation?
But you're never going to do the right thing when you're dealing with a serial killer.
Right.
So, I mean, you know,
you win, like it's a lose-lose situation.
If they're a good a good person, if they're a mature person, bestie breakups and friendship outgrowth and growth and all that it sucks and it's painful.
It is.
But it's a natural part of life.
Absolutely.
And the friends I had in my 20s, you don't talk to in your 30s, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two will stick. The friends you have in your 30s, or when you change careers, or you know, when we moved down here to the Keys, I had to focus so much of my energy on my core six, on my husband, on my sons. I didn't have the time to fucking raise you. I didn't have time to lift you up and make sure I call you right back. You are high fucking maintenance.
Yeah. And
part of my new beginning on this friendship that was on the outs for over a year, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, I've dated guys and they're obsessed with me. Every guy I ever dated. Yes, Sean and I were high school sweethearts, but we broke up for a few years. You don't have that part of your story. We do. And he went and was a whore and I wasn't. I went to nursing school. Sean, calling you out.
She was a woman in her study books.
In my study books. Never did drugs. I was a really good girl. Anyway, I dated other guys. Every guy I ever dated, from the top to the bottom, always wanted me to marry them.
Yeah.
And they were obsessed with me, as they should have been, because I am a catch.
They should have.
And listen to this, though. None of them did to me what this fucking crazy-ass ex-bestie did. And when you are on the outs of a relationship, you feel it going.
Yeah.
And yes, we've all had those crazy moments. Like Sean recently had a little bit of a crazy moment. We've been married for 14 years. Like, it's normal. I'm not saying that you don't have maybe sometimes natural jealousy or you have denial. Maybe you have denial that the friendship is on the outs. So then, oh my gosh, then the people pleasing will start. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to try to be like everything I ever wanted. And then that's where, because I'm an energy person and I'm very real, I feel that shit. And I've always said desperate isn't cute.
Absolutely.
And so then I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to be around this person.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's signs with what you asked. And I feel like any friendship, whether they're a mature adult, whether they're 25, whether they're 19, whether you're in middle school listening and it's our little sister Seva, it's like there's signs and you shouldn't be so shocked when it happens. Mm-hmm. I don't think that there's one way that you can do this.
I agree. I think,
and you need to hold space for if I see you and a friendship and there wasn't a conversation, or maybe there was, whatever, like hold space for your sisters, family members, friends, that maybe a breakup happens where you don't agree with all the aspects of it. You're not that person.
Yeah.
I'm not in your shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of psychological warfare you've been under with this friendship or this boyfriend. And so who am I to judge that?
Right.
So often people who aren't even in the equation have something to say about how it went down, and they don't even know that, one, the whole story, and two, the truth about it all.
Right.
And so ultimately, on my end, just so everyone here knows, and we will share this fucking tea in full disclosure, not on this episode. It's painful for everyone involved.
Absolutely. It
mind F's you, both parties.
Yeah.
Because I am a good person. I feel so bad that I've outgrown you. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've been holding on to this friendship that's toxic for too long. And it hurts me that this is happening. And this person has been a part of my life for a year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever it may be, whoever it is. It could be a cousin. And I want us all to talk about that. For both of us, both parties, it's hard.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of blaming that goes on when it comes to unfortunate situations, whether it's a disagreement or whether it's just natural life evolution of just like we no longer align in our life. And I think people can be super quick to have their opinions and judgments and, you know, oh, well, I would have done this differently, or, oh, well, you didn't really handle that one right. But it's like you just said, no one else is in your shoes other than you. And you guys, this applies to all types of relationships.
All of them.
But you're mentally done with things a lot faster than when you actually physically put an end to it.
100%.
And so someone from the outside may not understand, oh, like that was rude, or that was, you know, she was super quick to do that. But it's like
you have no idea, bitch.
Understand how long I might have had these feelings of resentment, or just like, I don't really think this is right anymore, until, you know, I finally said something. So just if you're someone that's maybe on the outside of a situation, like, be aware of that, because I think it's really easy for us to like throw judgment on people and be so critical of how certain situations were handled. But there's a lot of mental and emotional aspects that go into relationships, especially with people that you genuinely do care about. And that's what the saddest part is just because someone could have every characteristic we just named, it doesn't mean that you didn't once care about them or love them or trauma
bond with them, or have and that's what I'm saying is, people, we need to hold space for both sides of this. If you have been feeling like you've outgrown a friendship, or you feel like you need to set a hard boundary with your mother-in-law, your monster-in-law, I'm gonna give you permission today. I'm gonna say to you, as your sister, do it. Because at the end of the day, it only is going to hurt you and all the other relationships. I only have 100% of me to give, which is a fucking lot. But I can't be giving 90% of it to a toxic narcissist in-law or a bestie.
Yeah.
That actually, they don't have my best interest at heart. That actually, they're sociopaths or narcissists, or they want to F my husband, or they, you know, whatever it may be. Like, I'm just spitting information out here. I'm not saying this is my situation, but I only have 100%, and I can't be divvying that up. And that was one of my red flags that we didn't get to, and it's fine, is I feel exhausted when you leave. That's a red flag. I feel emotionally and physically, my battery is done when this person leaves. That's a toxic person.
Yeah. That
person should probably not be in your life, or you should be setting a boundary around that. And so it's unfortunate, because yes, I have loved every person. If I called you my best friend at any point, or I called you even my friend, I have feelings for you.
Yeah.
I have feelings for my clients.
Yeah.
I get teary-eyed when my client can put her wedding ring back on because she lost 20 pounds. That's real. And it doesn't, just because you've outgrown a friendship doesn't mean that it wasn't real, but it's painful, it's hard, but I want to promise you too that on the other side of it, you will be able to see and thank God. I've thanked God on my knees more times than I could ever count since this year started, looking back on my shit show year last year. God is protecting me when I go through these things. Rejection, for instance, if you've been rejected by a friend and you feel rejected, look at it and flip the narrative to God's protection.
I love that.
Don't go online and cancel campaign and try to hold on to something that's been dead for over a year, whether it's your boyfriend or a friendship. Flip it, and we can make everything positive in our minds. And so that's all I really have to say about that. I mean, I know that you have a really awesome squad of people around you, and I am proud of that for you. But I also will be here coaching you. I don't think anyone's ever going to stab my sister in the back, because if it's not her, I will kill you. But I will coach you through outgrowing friendships.
Yeah.
Because that is hard, and it makes you feel all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
And it will happen. And I know that from me that it will happen, and you can have the best people around you, but when you go for especially big goals or career changes and everything like that, it unfortunately
they wither away.
It brings out true intentions and all that kind of stuff. So
I think in closing, I just, I want to leave everyone know that evolving yourself and those people maybe falling back, or you guys aren't aligning, you have to be okay with that, and have, again, every episode I'm you have to have peace, because I'm if you don't have peace, you literally
I'll go back to doing my thing again.
Because if you don't have peace, then you literally have nothing. And we joke and say we thrive in chaos, but in reality, you need to be sure of your decisions, and you need to be sure of the path that you're on, and you can't do that when you have noise. Mm-hmm. and chaos and all of these things around you. So at the end of the day, quality is always, always, always better than quantity. Yeah. And you have to trust yourself in knowing that you'll know when someone is right or wrong in your life, and you have to trust your gut and hope that the other person can be mature enough to receive that. Ooh. And if they can't, that's not on you. And I think the number one thing I was telling you all year, Jack, you are not responsible for how people respond to you. And you can look back and come up with 100 different ways of, you could have said things differently, but you said it.
What happened, and I mean,
you're not responsible for how other people choose to react. And
everything can be manipulated. And I laid up in bed at night many times in family situations and all of that. And you're right. It's the only thing I can control is myself and my reaction to shittery.
Yeah.
And or lack thereof or whatever. And so I think that it's just really important to focus on what you said, our peace, and listen to that intuition, because your intuition is God-given. And I say this all the time with moms, and even not moms. It's when you have that nagging feeling in your in your gut, slut,
whore, what a whore. When you have that feeling,
you got to listen to it. And I got my ass handed to me many times in friendships, and it's so important, guys. It's so important that you are constantly auditing your circles. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to leave you guys with. Constantly auditing your circles. And that doesn't mean that I think I'm better than anyone. I don't even think I do think I'm better than
some people.
Some people.
Absolutely.
But I say that with such pureness in me, as far as even sometimes when you outgrow a relationship in your family, or you outgrow a friendship, it doesn't always mean that this person thinks they're better than you. I also want to point that out, because sometimes it's just, I have a friend right now who might be listening to this that's going through some heavy shit in her family and with her children. It doesn't mean, because we're not talking as much, that it's a me thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what people need to fucking get down with, is me moving to the Keys. Even if this friend of me was good for me, but I was going through shit, that's okay. Mm-hmm. Hold space for that with the friend. Mm-hmm. Because if you aren't a complete sociopath and it's meant to be going back to peace, that friendship will come right back to you.
Yeah.
If you outgrow a friend from childhood, from freaking when you're 5 or something in the future, whatever, if that girl's really your sister and for a period of time you aren't as close, and you guys both have kids at the same time, you'll come back.
Yeah.
And so don't sever the ties and burn the bridges if you really love that person. I think that's also the thing to talk about. If you really love me, you're not gonna fucking cancel campaign, manipulate the situation, make me feel guilty for setting a boundary, like ultimately. And if you find out that they don't love you and they do those things, then be gone, bitch. Like that's it. Yeah.
And just remember, guys, there's always two sides to every story.
Oh God, I need a drink.
That's what I want to leave the end of the episode with. There's two sides to every story. You don't know where people are what people are going through, and you just gotta trust yourself, trust that gut instinct when it comes to people.
We can't talk today. Also, can I just also have a moment for my sister Athina? And I talked to our dad about this on Monday. When you go through this kind of fire, when you are outgrowing a friendship, or you're maybe you're going through a bestie breakup right now, or a boyfriend breakup right now, or a divorce, the top 3 people you call that are there for you in this, you hold the fuck on to those people. Mm-hmm. And one of those people for me was her. And I just want to say, if you have one of these, whether it's your sister and for real sister, or it's your freaking friend, those people that are there for you in these times, like, hold on to them for dear life, because they're rare, honestly. Like, good people are fucking rare.
Are you about to cry?
Yes, loyal people don't exist. Where's loyalty anymore, bro? I could tell my sister Athina right now, on the way here, I killed someone, and I really do need you to help me bury the body. And she would say, fuck. Okay.
I'd be on my way to Home Depot grabbing some supplies.
And she wouldn't even ask me, but I would tell her how it happened and everything.
Absolutely.
And the other cool thing about a friendship like this, and a sisterhood like this, and a family member like this, is that shit will go to the grave. I should never have to wonder if you're going to repeat what I said, unless it's to Joey. We tell our spouse everything, duh. But like...
Yeah, 100%.
If I tell you whatever it is, you take that shit down with you.
Absolutely. It's literally going down with me in the coffin.
That's a green flag.
Will she help you bury bodies?
Yeah.
Will she take your secrets down with you when you go in a coffin? And that's pretty much, that's the whole...
If your best friend is a yes man to you, they're not your best friend.
Agree.
Yeah. Damn.
You live and you learn, you guys.
Therapy for us here on the couch.
Absolutely.
Okay, like we say on every episode, guys, if you like this episode, comment, review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. All of the 5-star reviews boost our page. They get the message out. And if you have any topics you want us to cover, or you'd like a part 2 of bestie breakups, or whatever, you have questions, come ask us. We're here, open book.
Absolutely.
We've all been through it. You're not alone. We're here. You can sit with us.
Right here
on this white couch.
I even have 2 more
pieces over there.
All right, we love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed our episode, and we'll see you next week.